Sports Show. Please, mate, please. Have I got this one? But you want to jump in and take over?
Okay.
No, feel free, mate. Okay, we're going to talk about volleyball, of course, one of the great international sports, and we've been very lucky to get one of our volleyroos in, a South Australian girl, of course. Tara Maland joins us. Tara, appreciate you coming in. I know it's been a busy time for you, and Jason Rivett, of course, the operations manager for Volleyball SA. Let's start with you, Tara. It's been an interesting couple of years, obviously. 2 years with COVID, where there's nearly no volleyball, really. Yeah. So you have a international, nothing for 2 years, and then back to international. I'm just interested in that 2-year hiatus almost for all sports. What did you do through that period?
It was pretty tough. It was a lot of at home, whatever you can do in your backyard sort of thing. We were lucky enough to get together in May of 2020, and that was the last time that we saw each other for a long time. So we had about a year and a half of training whatever we could do at home, and then keeping our touches up as best we can with our volleyball in the backyard. And then in May of 2021, we got back together and started training again. So it was a long period of really nothing, and definitely it was a bit tough to get back into the swing of things as we started going again.
So you've just come back from a camp, in Thailand.
Yeah.
So that's probably the first camp, is it? Nearly since?
Yeah, almost. We had
COVID?
a couple camps in Canberra at the AIS in May time, and then in June as well. So we got a little bit of a prep period before we got to go over to Thailand.
Oh, that makes sense. Freezing cold to boiling heat.
Yeah, perfect adjustment.
So snow and sleet in Canberra to hot in Thailand.
Yeah.
How was the camp?
It was awesome. Yeah, we had a great time. It's a really new group of girls, so it was great to just try and see what we could do together, figure out all the little things that playing with new people feels like, and get to touch the international court again. So got to play against Chinese under-18 team and got to play against the senior squad for Thailand as well. So some actual competition, which was awesome as well, and a really good challenge for a new team as well.
That 2 years is a long time to be away from the game that you love and whatever. Did we lose anybody attrition-wise, or did we lose a couple of players that thought, oh, well, I'm not going to be around in 2 years? Well, no one knew that it was going to be 2 years. Did we lose any players in that period?
Yeah, we actually did. We had a lot of retirees. So we ended up, I think, seeing over 10 people retire over that time. So we were really lucky at the start of 2020. We had our Olympic qualifying tournament for Asia. And so that was a really great finish for us. And then little did we know we were going into COVID. So we got that tournament, and a lot of people ended up finishing on it. So, yeah, we started with a brand new team from this year.
Is it senior people you lost, or was it people to other sports? That really was my question. People, I don't think I'm going to be around in 2 years' time or a year's time. I might go and sneak and play something else. Did you lose them? Yeah,
we lost a couple to AFL. I think volleyball is a really tough pathway for a lot of people to do full-time for a long time. So whilst representing your country is such a phenomenal thing to do, we do end up losing some to other sports that are a little bit easier to be a part of. So a couple to AFL, some are just playing volleyball locally now, but it definitely was a lot of people that we did lose.
Wow.
So.
Tara, we'll come back to you because there's some really interesting stuff coming for you. Just on the back of that, Jace, your job operations manager, Tara touched on it, athletes moving to the women's AFL. There's a lot of it happening. I look at the numbers and it says volleyball's up 40% in participation. So has there been many players lost?
So we did have the very good growth in our divisional adults competition this year of 40%. So we grew by 15 teams and we're able to add another division into that. So the juniors stayed pretty steady. We added another age group into our juniors competition with the under 13s competition. So we are trying to expand. So we have seen some growth within our volleyball competitions. We've been able to add a couple of new venues as well, which has enabled that growth. So we've seen Ranella East College open up at the beginning of the year, and Mitchell Park down in Marion that opened up on the weekend. So being able to get some new facilities, even though that is a struggle for us at the moment, sharing it with so many other sports, that's enabled us to have some growth in the adult and junior space.
Mate, you lost the one in the city. That training base there for you, or the courts and stuff. And as you mentioned, the same for basketball. Trying to find a venue after 4 o'clock in the afternoon is nearly impossible.
Correct.
What will come in to replace the loss of the one in the city?
Yeah, so the city got sold by the council and has been bought by a IT tech giant, and we are looking to move to Benithan Park. So we've got some land in Benithan Park, but we're just looking for some income and some money and some hopefully some either sponsorship or government funds to be able to build a new facility. So we'll expand hopefully from 4 courts that was at City to 6 beach courts in Benothan Park.
Such a tough thing to do. Phil mentioned 40% growth. That's a fair bit of growth. It must be tough to keep up with it. I mean, you're now looking for venues and whatever, because you don't want to lose these people. You just got these people. So it's important now that you give them somewhere to play and participate.
Yeah, correct. And a lot of our clubs are saying that they're full purely because of the space and the timing restrictions that we've got within access into schools or recreational centres and facilities. So the new General Manager, Carla, and I are constantly in conversations with councils and government. I've just come off the back of a meeting with the City of Playford in the hope to get some new infrastructure out there. So the more that we can do and the more that councils and governments can help support state bodies to add new facilities to engage the community and grow participation, then it'll mean that a sport like volleyball that shares a venue with so many different sports will be able to grow and meet the demands that our sport is obviously showing.
Hey, let's talk about you, Tara. Obviously the high school venture through state teams with volleyball, and then you go to Canberra for 4 years to go to the Institute of Sport. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was really awesome. In 2017, they opened up a facility for the women's volleyball to come and join and have a full-time environment. So the men had been there for a long time and they opened it up for the women. So at the end of 2017, start of 2018, I moved over there and got to train full-time for 4 years, which was just awesome. It's amazing space to go.
Do you reckon it accelerated your skills? Did it accelerate your learning by 100%. An astronomical amount?
Yeah. It's over 25 hours a week of play, and so there's no better place to be. I think if you're really looking forward to going in your volleyball, it's the best place to go.
What's your history, Tara? Are you always volleyball, or did you play something else? Are you sneaky cricketer or?
Not cricket. That would have been cool. I was a basketballer and a tennis player. So.
Okay. And got you into volleyball? What got you there?
I went to Brighton High School and they have a special interest volleyball program. So they suck you in.
Yeah, and it hasn't been all that bad, of course, because then we venture over to Sweden, our first pro contract in Sweden. And we're just talking before we came on air, some of the players can earn up to $2 million a year. So you need to understand, when we talk about international volleyball, that playing in Europe and other places is the place to head to. So tell us about your experience in Sweden.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was freezing. There was a lot of snow, a lot of that. But in terms of the level of volleyball, it was a bit higher than what we can find in Australia in terms of competition. So really great to give it a go, get to see what it's like to be a professional athlete and have the expectations. And, you signed a contract, you've got to play well. So that was pretty cool. And then to get to be able to be paid, I guess, was also something that I hadn't seen before. So that was a pretty phenomenal first experience. So,
will you go back?
I don't think I'll go back to Sweden. I'd love to try somewhere else. That's probably the baseline in terms of level. So it'd be really cool if I could find somewhere new, still in Europe, hoping for France. But my agent's onto it, so hopefully we'll see something soon.
Is there a reason you won't go back to Sweden? We just started to talk millions and we're not going back.
They didn't have enough millions.
Is there more? Why are you looking elsewhere? Why wouldn't you go back to a place you enjoyed and thought it was great? And $1 million? Not that you got $1 million, but why the change?
I think it was a really good first challenge for me, and it gave me a touch of what professional volleyball's like. But in terms of the level, I think we can go higher. So I'd love to strive for a new challenge and a new team. Also get to experience living in a new country as well. So I think it'd be nice to try somewhere new. But Sweden was definitely a really cool first place to go, and often the first place for a lot of our Australian-based players too.
So who looks after that for you? You got a manager that looks after where you're going to go. What's he been saying? Has he been chatting to you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, we do a couple of voice messages here and there. He's based in the Netherlands, so sometimes it takes a bit for me to figure out what his messages say. But he said he's popped my name out there a couple of times, and there's some people interested. So we're just waiting to see something on paper.
Hey, just quickly, the Volleyroos obviously got to qualify for the Olympic Games, so there's still a fair process to go through. Where are we at the moment?
We're basically just trying to see how we can go in Asia at the moment. It's one of the strongest tournaments there is. So we have some of the top teams in the world just based in Asia, and we have to beat them in order to get to the Olympics. So at the moment, we're just trying to train as much as we can so that we can compete against them before we think about the rest of the world.
Hey, Tara, really appreciate you and Jace fitting us into your schedule. I know you've got a really busy one. We'll look forward to getting you you back and hearing about the progress
Exactly.
of the Volleyroos. Stay with us. Still plenty to come.